Hi, everybody. Good morning, and welcome to our Thursday morning gathering. There's a fair amount of work going on around my house this morning, and I'm not sure if you're going to be hearing it or not, maybe. But anyway, just like there are things happening. So good morning and welcome. My name is Tara Healey. I am the founder and director of Mind the Moment, the mindfulness program of Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. And I am delighted to be with everybody on this Thursday morning. For anyone that's new, these practices are fully guided. They are around 12 to 14 minutes in length, sometimes give or take a little bit. And there are periods of silence. So I like to say that just so that you know that when you don't hear me talking, that's just an opportunity to practice without having any formal guide or not having formal guidance throughout the whole thing. And if you get a chance, go ahead and open up the chat and go to the drop down menu and select everyone. So that, if that's what you would like to do in this format, which is webinar, that's the best way to communicate. And I always save a little bit of time at the end for Q&A, but also it's an opportunity to share a resource. So a book or a podcast or, something you've come across related to health and well-being is helpful, just so that we can use this community as a way to share our best resources. And so I think that's it. Let's go ahead and move into practice and take a moment to just put yourself in a position that feels like it's going to serve you best this morning. So that could be seated, standing, lying down is also a fine posture, as long as you're not too tired. And as always, your eyes can be either open or closed, and it's really what feels best for you. If you decide that it's best to keep your eyes open, it's helpful to gaze downward just a little bit to help remove peripheral distraction. And in the practice, I'm going to ask you to select what is called an anchor, something that each time we see that the mind has wandered, and it will a whole bunch of times, absolutely will for me. Each time we see that mind has wandered, that's not a problem. It's not a fail. You're not doing it wrong. This is what the practice is. So each time you notice a thought has slipped in uninvited, you just label it. Very specifically, it could be like planning. Because what we're starting to see in this practice are mental habit patterns. And also just kind of what's going on in your emotional world this morning. So it could be just as simple as label thinking. So that's often my teachers will recommend that, because you're not spending a lot of time wondering, what is it am I doing right now or feeling? So you could just you can keep it really simple and just do thinking. Trying to think if there's anything else. No, and you have lots of options for an anchor. It doesn't have to just be breath. Traditionally, breath is used because, as living human beings, everybody has breath, but it's really not about the breath. It's about training attention for steadiness and calibration, which allows, and then we bring that into the world, and that allows mindfulness, this capacity to see clearly what's going on within us and around us more clearly. So we're just really learning to create some stability of mind by intentionally regulating our attention over and over again on something like breath sensation anywhere in the body, that it's easiest for you to feel the sensations rather than think about, but just easier to feel the sensations. Could be belly, could be chest, could be nostrils. But you have other options. So you could take the palms of your hands, rest them on the top of your thighs, and the feeling of the point of contact would be your anchor. It would be the thing you return to when you see a thought slipped in uninvited. And Be careful not to like yank yourself back or think you're doing it wrong because you are doing it correctly. It's like mental push-ups. Um, we're just repeating over and over again. A thought slips in, gentle label, soften the body. There's almost always a contraction with thought, soften the body, and then return to whatever your anchor could be sound. So you can open the field of awareness and receive sound. All right, so let's go ahead and move into practice and take a couple deep breaths as a way to get started. So deep inhalation through the nose, but make your exhalation longer. So you could even do in on a count of 4, out on a count of 7. Surrendering your weight into the support of the ground below, maintaining a spine that is straight but not stiff. And beginning practice by allowing yourself to fully arrive, letting go of all that has happened so far this morning, releasing anticipation of what's to come. So, bringing the mind and the body together. And let's just do a scan of the body, starting at the feet, and we'll move to the top of the head. But as we go through regions of the body, just kind of isolating that particular area, receiving sensation or noticing lack of sensation. So let's bring awareness to the feet. And of course, any areas of contact with the body and the surface are areas to notice sensation. So feet sweeping up to the lower legs, over the knees and up the thighs and hips. And just for a moment, holding the lower body in your field of awareness, receiving sensation. And moving awareness up the torso to the shoulders and down the arms, forearms, and hands. And releasing, coming up to the neck, up over the back of the head, sides and top of the head. And finally, sweeping awareness down over the face, the forehead and eyes, nose, cheeks, jaw, and mouth, tongue, and softening just to the degree that you can, the area of the face, releasing the jaw and tongue, softening the eyes, and releasing that, coming back to whole body awareness for a moment. And see if there are any areas calling for attention. So, as we begin our practice, see what anchor might work for you, whether it's breath or sound or another body sensation. It doesn't matter what you choose. What matters is the quality of awareness you can bring to the anchor on any day, and each day it could be a little different. See what might work for you today. And remaining with that particular anchor for the remaining of practice this morning. And noticing where the mind is and gently releasing the memory or the planning, whatever narrative has slipped in, and let the body soften and return. Again, noticing where the mind is, and just soften the body and return. And as we bring this practice to a close, I'm going to read a piece by Dana Falds that I saw this morning. I've read it before, but it speaks to the word allow in practice, which is something that I have talked about in the past, that we're not trying to create something special state of mind or body, that this practice is about allowing and um, working with resistance. So this poem is called Awake. Awake to celebration, awake to pain, awake to the day as it is, awake to wishing the day were different, awake to vastness and constriction, awake to fear and ease and suffering, awake to infinite silence, awake to the confused cacophony of the conditioned mind, awake to seeking and the end of seeking. Let it all in. Let it all be. This is me. And I love that. So taking a moment, if your eyes were closed, to open the eyes and just look around the room you're in a little bit, just to reorient and, just kind of reconnect. And that piece really says so much about what the heart of this practice is about, that it is, a misconception is that we sit and practice like this to create peace, to create a peaceful state. But the way to think about that is that that's a byproduct. It is ultimately a byproduct of practice, but it isn't the goal. So the idea is that when we sit with ourselves in this way without distraction, there's room for lots to come up. So physical pain that you might not have noticed because you were busy, or you're noticing even if you are busy. So physical pain, emotional pain, joy, any of the, sometimes with the really positive emotional states or physical states, there can be a subtle grasping because we don't want them to change, but their nature is to change. And so part of what we learn in this practice is that impermanence, that everything is of a nature to arise, to sort of have its form, do its thing, and move. And so the more that we're able to work with that, the more we're able to bring some degree of ease to our day-to-day life. So the idea is that, we're not practicing on the cushion, so to speak, to have more focus and concentration. And just when we're practicing, the idea is that we want to employ this quality of mind into the service of our day-to-day life. And so I feel like repetition is valuable in this practice. And just hearing that, you know, I don't even like to use the word goal, but I'll use it. The goal of the practice really is to allow, to be with what is, including those things that are unpleasant, and also those things that are very pleasant, with a recognition that their nature is to be in motion. Yeah, so I just thought just wanted to say a couple things about that, but we definitely have some time for uh, Q&A. So if there is anything or sharing, so any resources that you've come across that have been useful to you. I mentioned yesterday the Dan Harris interview with Alyssa Eppel, Eppel. She's a neuroscientist, and that would be a really good one to listen to. I haven't finished it yet, but her work is compelling. And I know, like, she's even talking about in some of her research, 5 minutes a day. And what a lot of the neuroscientists are discovering is it's really what's important is consistency rather than time. I think time matters, and as we practice, we actually almost naturally start to increase time. but consistency of daily or daily-ish practice is important. So anything at all, a podcast, a movie, a show, a book, an app, or a question or a comment about practice? Well, I think we can, yeah, we have 5 minutes to spare, so I think we can call it. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Have a wonderful weekend. It's already Thursday, and I'll see you on Wednesday morning. Okay. Bye, everybody.